Maybe that's something to do with it.
I'll need the order will approve the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Minutes not available for that, so we'll go to any adjustments.
I have no adjustments, sir.
Any public comment?
Nope.
Seeing none, we'll move on. Business items, 5-1, the rec department, festival of trees update.
Yes, so I've invited the rec director to come and just give the board an update of how everything went and how we did.
It went really well. We ended up with 27 trees. On the third and final day, about 20 minutes before ending, we ran out of every bit of tickets that we had in the building. Wasn't a bad thing. Everyone that was patient enough, we got them tickets that we made. We ended up raising $16,704, which was more than we could imagine. So it was very successful, very festive. All their trees are gone. It's not as nice in the rec center anymore, but it went really well.
Gonna try and do it again next year?
Yes, we've had several businesses ask how they can join next year. And the other really cool part is only 2 of the trees that participated had ever done a festival of trees. So this was a first for all of us, which is really cool. So I think we'll definitely have far more next year.
You need a bigger space.
Yes, I think we'll have to cap it at 40 if we get to 40. We've already been measuring. And a lot more tickets.
Very good.
Impressive. Very impressive. Yeah.
Move on, 5.2, the North End Fire Station discussion.
All right, so in your packets, you have, I did contact a engineer to come and just a structural engineer to come do a brief report on the building. And I provided that to you folks in there so that you can see conditions thereof. A couple of, she pointed out, some of the hairline cracking in the slab. She also pointed out the driveway or the parking lot driveway in front of it. That's where she showed a lot of concern with how that's kind of got a lot of cracking. And, the asphalt looks like it needs to be replaced with how it's showing, grooves and so forth, the tire grooves. Also, one side of the building, the siding is becoming detached from the anchors. So there's some places that needs to be hooked back on. Her recommendations were, one, she asked what the intention of the building was, and I said, well, we're kind of in that in-between stage. Do we want to use it as a cold storage? Do we want to use it as a fire station? Do we want to just not have it anymore? And one of the things she commented on and she picked up on, which we all know, is the vehicle bay doors are too short to get a full-size fire truck in. It's just too small. So she did comment on the fact that if we wanted to invest some money in it, we certainly could raise the building the way that it's made. You could just simply raise the metal structure up and just put more siding on it, and then we could get something larger in there if we wanted to. She also commented on that the building itself, inside of it, there's most of the time there's like X supports that go, X-shaped supports that go in there to hold it rigid and so forth. They haven't been in there all this time, but usually they're in there. She did recommend if we raise the building that we put those in there to shore it up. The people door needs to be replaced, which is something that we've known. And also we need to work on the drainage outside to ensure that it's going away from the door into that drain. She included a diagram. And so the other big thing that she pointed out is if you, in the front, right at the bays inside, some of the board members probably remember we've tried to have that repaired multiple times. She's recommending that we basically do a box cut almost and remove that and then redo the concrete there as well. So she, of course, does not give any pricing or any estimates, but she did provide a great deal of good pictures and so forth as well. But all in all, she thought the building was in okay shape, depending on what we want to use it for. If it's going to be used for cold storage, we probably should replace the people door and shore up the siding. If we're going to try and use it for a fire station, there's probably a little work that needs to be done. So, oh, insulation was the other thing she mentioned. Yep.
Insulation.
So, is there anything else you guys?
I mean, we're basically thinking of just using it for storage, correct? Am I right in thinking that?
I think at this point, yes.
Fire chief already said there's no need to have that down there. There's no benefit for insurance or whatever, so I don't see investing a ton of money into it, but certainly making it dry probably isn't a bad.
I was with Adam when the engineer came in, I sat through that. She basically, you know, with the exception of cutting out that piece of floor, you know, with more of doing some digging around the outside so that things sloped away from the building. I mean, that was really her biggest thing, to get that back up. You know, the other stuff was all mentioned, but you know, if we're gonna use it just for cold storage, I almost think if you
Probably
know,
got a
fix-
roof- probably got a roof
well, I mean,
Yeah.
roof issue, but the way she talked about the roof, I mean, she didn't necessarily say put the whole roof on, so, you know, it should be addressed. But I mean, as a storage building, I don't know that, I mean, if we really need the storage building, I don't know, but it would be all right for what we're gonna do, you know?
Gotcha.
If you're thinking of doing it, fixing it up, well, then maybe I might walk and dump a ton of money in it, but enough to make it for cold storage, I would.
I certainly think we need a place for cold storage.
And
At this
she,
point,
you know, that's kind of what she more or less said too.
Mm.
She said for as old as the building was, it was in pretty good shape.
So do we want to get pricing on a man door? Repair or replace the roof? Cut out the interior floor, it needs to be cut to make that right? And the bay doors, fine the way they are. I mean, obviously they're not high enough, but
They're good for what we're using them for, yeah.
Yeah, the bay doors aren't operable a ton, so they are fine once you get the floor fixed, so they actually like meet the ground and it's a bit more secure. And then I would consider, the drainage out front is really bad. I really do think that whole driveway does need to be ripped up. Once the cement's fixed, that needs to be ripped up and done right, because it becomes a swimming pool, if you will, out front.
She,
So
I
that's
mean,
not
she wanted
staged
it
right.
drained, you know, over towards the manhole. I mean, she brought all that up.
and we can discuss all, you know, like, just, yeah, let's get some price and do it. We don't even need it. Couldn't we just leave it gravel? Is it possible to regrade it and put some?
Well, I mean, she didn't say
gravel?
had to pave it, but it's the way it is, it's kind of got where it's pretty
Sure,
low
it's
right
good.
there. If you could slope it away from the building, and maybe in that particular case where the road's high, you're probably gonna have to kind of slope things that way too, to get it to run down towards your manhole.
Right.
But I mean, I don't think it's something that couldn't be done if we decide that's what we want to do.
And can you remind me, what is it we keep for cold storage? Like, there was the sewer drainage thing.
So it's kind of a melting pot of everything. So the sewer, they have the jetter, which is which is a big like giant pressure pump thing, if you will, to blow out pipes and stuff. We also keep the street sweeper in there during the winter time for the public works. There's the old antique fire truck is stored in there.
Rec ATV,
Yep.
police ATV.
Yep.
I'm missing something.
I think those are the big,
Yeah,
well,
those are the big, like, right now it's just, every department has something.
Yeah.
In there.
And we have no other place to keep that stuff.
so the sewer department does not have a place to store their thing. Public works would have to leave the street sweeper outside if they didn't put it in there, because they don't have the space, which I don't think would be good for it.
Like all their other stuff.
Correct. Yeah, and the ATVs, I mean, you could try and jam those into the fire station bays, but
We don't really have.
we need a place to store stuff, so that's why that's kind of in.
That thing for the sewer department, the jetter,
Mhm.
how often is that used?
We only got it a couple of years ago. I couldn't give you a report of how many. I know it's been used, but
You're certainly not gonna
Do
get
it next week.
Well, we're not gonna get storage, that many square feet of storage. Either we rent it or we build something, we're not gonna get it for what it's gonna cost to repair, I'm sure.
For right now, I'm not supporting any major overhaul, and it doesn't sound like anyone else is either. But if we have to do something to, as far as preventative maintenance, I'd be for it in a limited fashion until we figure out a solution.
You know, another spring or something, we'll revisit it and see what, you know, then you probably get some prices and
Yeah, I
I'd
mean,
be for that.
maybe Public Works might even be able to do all of the groundwork
It
outside.
could be, yeah.
And if that's the case, it's the cost of material. And then, you know, the people door, I mean, it's a steel door, I mean, what, $1,500 or something, I mean, who knows? I mean, so,
I think it's worthy of getting some price on what we want to get fixed.
yep.
I think we bring back the total cost of what it would be to
Sure.
make it adequate for the time being.
I think I can do that.
Department head report.
So, I actually didn't have one for tonight. I figured we were hearing from two of them already. I hope that that's satisfactory. And, so I didn't have one on that.
Town manager.
All right. So this first item, holiday discussion, I just wanted to bring and make sure that, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. So the transfer station holidays, the transfer station is closed on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And the holidays in December fall on Christmas Eve is Wednesday, Christmas Day is Thursday, New Year's Day is on a Thursday. So traditionally, the way that it works is that a holiday, if it falls on the days off, it is observed on, you know, another day during the week for that given department. This is really kind of a unique situation for the transfer station because they're closed in the middle of the week, not on the weekends. So we get into a position where I want to make sure that the employees at the transfer station get to observe the holiday, but at the same time, I'll be frank, I also want to avoid overtime. So if we remain open and we don't close any days at the transfer station, what will happen is that according to our employee handbook is that vacation days are counted as hours worked. So therefore, if we don't close on another day and they work, they'll have a week with overtime. You know, so what I'm proposing, I think I threw in there two different, you know, proposals. One is I have learned my lesson, and that is that nobody wants to see the transfer station closed on a Saturday. So I'm not gonna, you know, go that direction much. But what I was thinking is on Christmas week, if I can get my fingers to work here, on Christmas week, if we were to observe the Christmas Eve and Christmas on Monday and Tuesday, and then they would get their standard 40-hour week. And then on New Year's week, if we were closed on the Tuesday, they would get their standard 40-hour week. And that would leave it open on Fridays and Saturdays like normal. As I was speaking to Scott earlier about this, and as I said to him too, if I'm making too big of a deal out of this, you need to tell me and I'll leave it alone. I just see this as a place where we can save a little bit of money. The employees aren't out anything because they're still getting their 40-hour work week. So, but any thoughts?
I mean, I have no objection, I guess we rewrite the handbook so that the paid holiday isn't considered working hours, so it would be 48 hours at regular time, and then you can keep it open, but I have no objection to this either, this is a fine solution.
I'd be good with it. So,
I say close it Monday, Tuesday, have it open Friday, Saturday.
Option two.
I mean, it'd definitely be more important after Christmas than it will be before, I think.
I mean, the important part is to get the word out, right? Like, is make sure that it's, somehow we get this out there, so inevitably somebody's gonna show up, and it's gonna be closed, and they're gonna be disappointed on Monday or Tuesday, because they just didn't get it, but that's the best we can do, is get it out there as best we can. As soon as we can, if we decide to do it, and as often as we can.
Yeah, no, and I think that if that's the decision tonight, then what we'll do is we'll post it at the transfer station, we'll post it here, we'll put it on the website, we'll put it on Facebook, you know, all those things.
We put it on the light up sign down at the rec center, I mean, like, every
Sure.
possible way that we can get it out there, get it out there.
Yeah.
Inevitably, somebody's still gonna go, it'd probably be me, to be honest with you, but somebody will go there, let's go.
I'm that guy too, so. Is that the preference of the board or just leave it be?
I make a motion to do what you got there as far as changing the hours, but if anybody wants to second that.
Yeah, I'll second. Close Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, open Friday, Saturday.
So over on the 26th, because we got yelled at for that multiple times too, the day after Christmas.
Yeah, I know, they like that day. Sometimes people have garbage.
Sometimes they love it.
I don't get any
Especially
gifts, so I don't have to
with
worry about
kids.
You might be this year, you never know.
it.
So close 22nd through the 25th.
Yes.
I don't see that going in the world either, but hey,
And then again on the 30th to the 1st.
Because from feedback before, I don't think we don't wanna do anything on Friday, Saturday, because
No.
those are the days people go there.
I mean, I'm not excited about it being closed 4 days in a row, but I feel it's the best option at the moment.
well, I guess my only issue with it is that policy currently states that if it follows, if they close, not only close on holiday, they get about for them 9 hours. So,
Yeah, but they're basically saying it, you know, it's the same with your police department, your public works will always end up those days, right? Adam?
The police and fire departments are different, because they're public safety, they have to work.
Right. But-
So Public Works would be a good example. Public Works, the town office, any other non-emergency personnel, because if when the holiday happens, they just get the day off. It's a day off. Like Thanksgiving's on a Thursday, so the town office is closed. They get paid a holiday, which is 8-hour holiday, and that's what makes their 40-hour week. But because these holidays are falling on their days off, the handbook says, and is common practice in most places, that you observe the holiday on another day. In this case, if we're not going to observe it on another day, they're gonna get additional pay, and it counts as hours worked, so therefore they're gonna get overtime. And if you guys are comfortable with that too, that's fine. Where it's gonna happen 3 times, I thought it was worth bringing up.
Scott, and you're not comfortable with it, I would take. No, I'm not, but so let's, what's another alternative? Could we give them a floating holiday? So could they just take that and, coordinate with the supervisor and say, hey, I'm gonna take another day off. It doesn't have to be all, shut the whole thing down either. Just give them a day in hand. I see what you're trying to do, and I appreciate you trying to save money, right? Like, we're not gonna pay them time and a half they're not working on the holiday. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna get paid for the holiday, and then they're gonna get overtime, time and a half on that weekend when they work.
Mhm.
So to avoid that, that's what we're trying to do. So we could give them a day in hand, for that day off if they wanna work, if we don't wanna close it for 4 days, whatever, but I mean,
I get that we're trying to save the money, but from the employee side of it, it looks like we're going to alter the employee handbook just to not pay overtime.
that's exactly what we're doing.
Well, I know
Yeah,
that, but it's like,
I get what you're saying, but
it doesn't look right, in my opinion. It's like, that's how we wrote it, that's how we accepted it. I do, I get trying to save the overtime, but I think we had this discussion when we were talking about that language in there and I don't know.
How much does
But-
this come to money-wise?
Oh, I don't have that figure in front of me. The overtime, I don't have that figure in front of me.
Yeah, be that?
Are we talking just the full-time employees?
Of course, yeah.
So there's only 3, right?
Right, so we're
I
talking,
don't know, I'm just wild guess. $150 a person?
yeah, you're talking about, 9 hours for each person at time and a half. So,
Times 3.
Yep.
So 450, I'm saying just under $1,500 is what we're debating over.
Thereabout.
and another thing that we could do certainly is we could not, and then we can just, there are going to be a couple other things coming up for updates in the employee handbook, and then we can just put this back on the ensure it's talked about in the near future, camp too, if that's what we want to do. So,
So there's a motion, so.
Yep.
We're gonna vote on the motion, right?
So, all in favor, we have a second, right?
Yeah, I second it.
All in favor of the motion as presented?
I have another question.
Okay, so
Can I ask what you would propose?
again, I would propose that, yes, it's gonna cost us overtime, but we go by what the policy says.
So we would still be open Monday, Tuesday, they'd have Wednesday, Thursday off, but they would be getting overtime for the
When
holiday.
they work that week.
Right, because they're still gonna be paid for the holiday.
And they'd be closed, and then the dump would be closed the day after.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. So are we gonna, in that scenario, are we gonna be closed just for Wednesday, Thursday? Or are we still gonna be closed Friday as well in that scenario?
No.
I think that would be closed Wednesday, Thursday.
No.
Just Wednesday, Thursday, normal days.
Right.
yeah,
I think we have to be open Friday.
Oh, absolutely.
yes,
The day after Christmas.
yeah, I think, no, you would, if we don't want to take any action here, they'll be closed their Wednesday, Thursday, which is their normal days off, and they'll be back in business like normal.
Right.
So the public won't even feel the difference.
Yeah, but I thought you said they had to have the day after, I guess.
We have to observe the holiday. If we want to avoid overtime, we have to observe the holiday somewhere and give them a day off outside,
Right, but what I'm saying, so the way the policy read was the day after, correct?
The policy for the rest of them, it speaks to the weekends, Floyd. So it talks about if it falls on a Sunday, we'll observe it on a Monday. If it falls on a Friday, we'll observe it on a Saturday. But where their days off are Wednesday, Thursday, I think it
He's
leaves.
got a point there, though. What he's saying is regardless, you would observe it the day after the holiday. So for
That's how I was interpreting
Further-
it. I'm not,
for you employees here at the town hall, if the holiday fell on a Sunday, you would get one day off.
If it fell on a Saturday, we get Friday off.
Correct. So why wouldn't, if that's the policy, why wouldn't we do that with the transfer station as well? We would just pay in time and a half.
But it's specific in here that the transfer station shall be closed on all designated holidays. Any holidays that fall on days the transfer station is already closed, the employee shall receive holiday pay. A holiday will be equal to 1 regular work shift. It doesn't say anything about it has to be closed the day after,
I'm on five.
as long as they get paid.
Article 5, time off from work, 5.01 holidays.
Yeah, second half of that paragraph, I just read.
But it said, that's where any holidays that fall on the days of the transfer station, but previous to that, it said the following day shall recognize the holiday. That's when it states if it falls on a Sunday, they would observe it on Monday.
Right.
So that we wrote in specific for the transfer station.
Yes, specific, because, we closed it on the 26th once and.
Or the other solution is, I don't see where it says it here, right in this, where it's circled for me, where it says that they would be, their pay would be as working hours. In other words, they would receive holiday pay, they would receive compensation. How we do it is we pay, it'll say 9 hours holiday pay and regular hours. So there wouldn't even be time and a half, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. I don't know why we can't do it that way.
because to go back to Scott's point, the manual does say in another section that holidays are considered hours worked. Sick time isn't, but holidays are. So if that's the case, I do think it would be rotten if we're going to make them work to then turn around and then just give them straight time. I mean, at this point.
Do you know how you do it at your shop?
Yeah,
Similar to what I just described?
pretty much.
Just, I feel, I don't think it's rotten, that's a tough word.
Well,
You know,
I
we-
feel
We're
it's,
not requiring them to work, meaning on a holiday, we're paying them for the holiday.
I feel it's rotten in the sense of that this is what's stated right now, and then we're gonna do this. And when it comes to the pay, if we're gonna require them to work, their expectation is that if they do work, that hours over are overtime hours. That's rotten might be a strong word, but
So here's what I would suggest, and is we stick by the way it's written for the town right now.
Mhm.
I think we should revisit the way it's written and say, just like what Phil was saying, and we're saying how other places do it, that holiday pay is exactly what it is. It's holiday pay. It's not overtime moving forward. But it's the way it's written right now. I think we should go by the way it's written. I kind of agree with Scott on this.
Okay, I
Yeah, no, I second it, so.
well, I
But
guess,
listening.
I was thinking that
Yeah.
we were gonna end up giving the day off afterwards.
Right.
Where I was headed.
So we had, 2 in favor and then 2
Oh,
those opposed?
Yeah,
The-
sure. Yep.
yeah.
Somebody takes
Yep.
it.
Fails.
Yep.
So, anybody else would like to make the motion on a new motion?
You want to make a motion?
Yeah. So I'll make a motion that we, pay holiday pay, and the dump is closed on Wednesday, Thursday, but open Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday.
the normal hours.
The normal hours, correct.
Okay, second?
Second, all in discussion, all in favor? Opposed?
All right, thank you for the clarification.
Can we put that on the agenda in the future to get this cleared up as far as holiday pay?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, do you want me to hit the next couple of things? All right. So also in your packets, you have from VHB, which is the engineering service we use for the grade controls for Hogan Whitney Pond. And the part that I would definitely call your attention to, this report is what gets sent to the Army Corps of Engineers. If you look at page 3, I think it is, of the report, there's a neat graph in there. It shows what the upstream level is, and then the downstream level. It actually shows that the grade controls have been working and keeping the water levels up, and they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. It was a little low in the beginning of the summer or spring summer. The contractor did come in and do the repairs that needed to be done. It was just some minor stuff to the cribbing or whatever on the top. That was at Pratt and Sons, and when the engineer contacted them, they came right out and took care of it, and it's been working great ever since. So I think proof of concept is certainly shown this first year. And then also, we had a discussion at the last meeting about our broker for the 40-acre parcel, and he has put out signs, as you guys had asked
Did
about.
notice the new sign.
Yes. So I was happy to see that. And then also we've got a couple other items to discuss in the future, and I just wanted to confirm. So December 18th, which is the next meeting, I've got Rob Prue, Pine Tree Engineering, the gentleman who's helping us with all the road work and the road bond stuff. I've got him scheduled to come to the next meeting to talk about where we're at and the plans moving forward and all that kind of stuff. And then the board can have an opportunity to ask him questions as well. AvCog, I've got them scheduled to come on the 18th to talk about the comprehensive plan, you know, what it's for, why or why not, you know, pros and cons and what it takes, you know, to get this in place. And then on January 15th, I've got scheduled to do a workshop at 5 p.m. just prior to the meeting to talk about the sewer standby fees. So all that stuff sounding kosher with everybody still?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So that is what I have.
Any questions?
Just wanted to bring up the annual town meeting. So maybe start thinking about how we get more people here or to attend. And not to solve anything tonight, but start maybe thinking about either maybe a different time, a different date on that, maybe a different location. How do we get more people involved? We know every year there's important things to vote on there, and I think last year we had a pretty good crowd, and it was plus or minus 100 people. So.
Isn't that hasn't been discussed before?
And I know, Floyd, you've discussed it with me, you know, for years, and so, but I also think we start talking about it, we need to think about changing the time of the day and or the locations. We're not gonna put much more than 100 people in there. It was capacity crowd was 100. So I just don't want anybody thinking, well, it's just gonna be packed and I don't wanna go. So let's start moving that to the front of our minds here, so we can start getting the word out and promote that, so we can get better attendance.
Have a comment?
Yeah.
At the next meeting or next month, later this month, excuse me, I am going to be bringing your budget calendars forward for the upcoming budget cycle. As you know, I usually put a town meeting date on there, so that might be a good time to revisit this discussion, if you will, because usually we've got that the first Saturday in June. So if we're going to make some of those changes, probably something we should talk about sooner than later, so that when it starts getting that budget calendar gets out there, that people will see what the real date's going to be and all that kind of stuff. So,
I mean, would anybody be opposed to doing some sort of a poll, an online poll or something to see what the voters think about a location or time or changing it or anything? I mean, you know, let them be part of the decision making. Maybe they have some investment on when town meeting is. So if it's somewhat their idea, maybe they'll think, hey, maybe I should go. It was my idea to move it or change it or whatever.
Try anything, but I'm concerned, but we had, you know, you gotta have something that interests people to get them to come for some reason. And sometimes our budget, I guess, has been boring to them, but I don't know.
Free hot dogs will get them coming.
What's that?
Free hot dogs will get them coming.
Yeah, I never give them a thought. They used to do that though, at hot dog one spot. It was up on the hill.
great.
Well, keep that in mind though.
I don't mind the date and the time, I just, it was pretty packed here last year. I think that will deter some people from coming if we don't find a different location.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things, and you folks can maybe have your thoughts too. When we were doing this at the school before, we had plenty of room and we'd get 65 people.
Right.
We come up here and we'll have 100.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's there's no rhyme or reason to any of it, which is one of the reasons that we kind of shifted up here. So it's just.
But I mean, over the time that I've been on it, you know, every so often there's something that really excites people and they come. I mean, we've had big crowds before, but more than likely, this room would have handled them all, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I'd say if the fire department thing wasn't there, then
Uh,
I would, my guess is if the fire department thing wasn't there.
well, no, but it's the same, we're
Yeah,
going way back to the other place.
Yeah, like you said, if there's a hot topic, or
They'll be here.
they'll be here, but, or if they,
I know they weren't here, hundreds. Disappointing, I mean, that's not even, and I get it, boy, I feel that,
Well, 100's a lot better than 45.
Yeah.
We just sat and had lunch and had this conversation, so I get it, but 100 is a poor turnout for a town meeting.
Wouldn't argue that with you.
So,
That's why we did the poll to see if they would prefer to do referendum style.
and it was unanimous, right, that they wanted that.
Well, but yeah, it was in favor of, yeah. And I can pull those results for you guys if you want. I mean, of course, they're a couple of years old now, but.
The goal, my reason for bringing it up, the goal is simply that everybody's sitting here. We want more people involved. We want people to be able to have a say and speak up and help direct this town in the direction they want to go, not a small percentage. So that's why I brought it up.
It doesn't hurt to look at it again, but we'll see. So,
I get you frustrated. I know. It's like smashing your head against the wall. I get it. But there's a new guy here and he wants to try, so.
I don't know, I get quite a lot of interest in that deal with we're gonna give out a $20,000 non-refundable
yeah.
thing to study a building that we're not sure we want. I thought that was a little odd there for the school bus driver.
Yeah, that's a waste of taxpayers' money.
And we've already told them we'd give them 2.1. Who's holding the strings there? That might bring them in.
You might.
Maybe.
Maybe we do a 50-50. We could get it sponsored, maybe we could get the town meeting sponsored, we could do a commercial and give some money away. I don't know, man.
Apparently a festival of trees is the way to go.
It's not
That
okay.
seemed to work well, I guess, yeah.
Festival of beach balls or something.
Right. Any other select items? Alright. Sign warrants.
There's nothing they need to sign.
Sign one, then I'll sign one.
I'm just talking to myself.
Floyd, can you pass your pen over?
Yes, sir.
What's our monthly school payment now? About half a million? What's our monthly school payment now? About half a million?
497.
Let's say it must be pretty close.
It's in there. I think it's in this one if I remember right.
Yeah, I kind of figured when it was 6 something.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Take a motion on the warrant.
Motion accept. Second.
Second.
I tried to move it along.
Motion and second, you're on. Opposed? Make motion to go into executive session, to discuss, disposition of property real estate pursuant to MRSA Title
ending
1,
this
Chapter 13, Section 4056C.
Once they make that final.
Second.
Second.
We good? All right.